Hey guys, it's Joel and welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, please make yourselves at home, and I hope you find this video enjoyable and somewhat helpful. So then, today's video is slightly different again. Firstly, because I am sweating, which is very, very unusual for the UK. If you do live in the UK and you haven't been living in a cave, you'll be aware that it has pretty much been 30 degrees everywhere for basically 2 weeks now. It's absolutely incredible. I'm not complaining, but I am sweating just a little bit. Anyway, today's video is also different because I'm going to talk to you about a question which is asked quite a lot, and I think that some of you might find helpful if I talked about for you, which is, how long should it take me to pass my driving test? So, obviously it's going to take more than just one person to answer this. It's very subjective, it's person to person. Now, I know this won't necessarily help you knowing how long it took me to pass my driving test. However, lots of people have asked. I was quite quick. I only took about 8 weeks. I turned 17 at the end of January, and I think had my first driving lesson maybe in the first week of February. I then passed my test in the first week of April. So it was 8 weeks, 2 months, something like that. It wasn't long at all. I did pass my test first time with, I think, 2 minors. And how many lessons did I have? Well, I think I had 4 lessons, which were 2 hours each, because I was having one every other week. So I think that's right. I might be slightly wrong, but it was only about 2 months from turning 17 that I did pass my test. Now, I've been very fortunate in the fact that I was driving cars from like 11, 12 years old, because we used to go to private roads and Dad would let me drive his car, etc, etc. And then once I did turn 17, my parents very kindly just let me drive on L plates their cars. So I did get a lot of experience crammed into that 2 months, and that is the first and the only thing really that I can advise you guys to do, is just get as much experience as possible, whether it's in driving lessons or whether your parents are kind enough to let you drive their cars, obviously supervised with L plates. Just get as much driving practice as you can, and only take your test when you feel ready for it. I don't think there's any point rushing it. No one, gets any medals for passing their test first. I just think take your time with it, make sure you're really confident behind a wheel, and then go for your driving test. Anyway, that was a really convoluted way of me telling you how long it took me to pass my test. I've just been doing a little bit of research, and I'm sure you guys could do this as well. But as you're asking, I'll let you know that on average it says here that it takes around 30 to 40 hours to reach test standard in the UK for 17-year-olds. So that's saying you should be able to reach test standard within around 2 to 3 months, depending on your ability. So what this is essentially saying is 30 to 40 hours of driving time is what's needed to reach test standard. Now that is lessons and other driving experience. So if you had one lesson a week, which was 2 hours long, for 10 weeks, which is 2.5 months, that would be 20 hours of driving experience. If on top of that, you also drove your mum and dad's car, or your brother's car, or your sister's car, or whatever, once a week for a couple of hours, that would get you 40 hours of driving experience in just over 2 months, which must be about what I had, and what meant that I was able to pass in 2 months. So that is quite interesting. The average is around 2 to 3 months, depending on ability. If you have less lessons, obviously it can take longer. And if you're not able to drive another car outside of lessons, then it could take even longer still. So I think the main thing is that you just take your time with it. There's definitely no rush. Depending on your circumstances, you might just want to get it done before you go to university. I personally think that's a very helpful idea, because then when you come back and work while you're at uni, you've got a car and you can drive, etc, etc. The other thing as well, I think lots of people get really, really nervous about their driving tests, and it's easy for me to say now, don't get nervous, because I was so nervous. I was so keen to pass my test. I was letting all my friends know I've had this many lessons, I'm having my test on this day. So I did put myself under pressure to pass, but I was definitely nervous, and I remember being slightly terrified in my driving test. But guess what? I mean, you're gonna pass one day. So just take the pressure off yourself. Don't worry about it too much. It's really not that bad. Most examiners are lovely. Although that's another story actually. Mine wasn't, and he got into a bit of an argument with my instructor. But maybe that's a story for another time. But yeah, just don't worry about it. I think drive sensibly, listen to everything your instructors are telling you, and just get as much experience as possible, because that is essentially what's going to make or break you in your driving test, is whether you're able to deal with stressful situations at the wheel, and only experience and time behind the wheel can prepare you for that. Anyway, this was just, I guess this was a really quick monologue of me just answering that question that lots of you have been asking. I think it's really cool that all of you guys are asking me questions, and yeah, please continue to do so, because I love helping out where I can. And I hope that was helpful for those of you that were looking for that video. Like I say, if you've got any more suggestions, please do let me know. Get in touch with me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the links are in the description. And yeah, if you are new here and you found this helpful, guys, please do subscribe, leave it a like, and I will see you very, very soon.